So there's a woman boxer that they called a man that is actually a woman that looks like a man. Let's talk about it. So there's this female boxer named Amine Khalif who's representing Algeria in the Paris Olympics. The people found out that she failed a gender test in the past. Then combine that with the fact that she beat Angela Carini in 46 seconds because Carini quit, which caused outrage across the boxing world. From the Austrian boy, Ryan Garcia, posting his nonsense, to the GOAT herself, Clarissa Shields, saying that men shouldn't fight women. However, she's all for women fighting men. That makes sense. If people actually waited and did their research, then they would have found out the facts. Why would a country like Algeria, where changing genders is illegal, decide to send a transgender woman to represent their country in the Olympic Games? Shame on you guys for bullying this woman. All you guys care about is
the need to be first, not even to be true anymore.
Terrence Crawford is not ready for Canelo Alvarez. Let's talk about it. Terrence Crawford had his first fight at 154 over the weekend when he beat Israel Madrimov via unanimous decision to become 4th division champion. But it wasn't as easy like in his previous fights. His timing was off. You could blame it on ring rust, him being out of action for over a year, or him not getting used to the weight. But one thing this performance shows me is that he's definitely not ready for Canelo Alvarez. I know that Crawford wants to fight for his legacy, but let's keep it real. It's all about the
payday, payday, you want payday. I know that.
Crawford didn't look his best at 154, and he'll have to move up 2 extra weight divisions to face Canelo at 168. And even if they do fight at 168, Canelo won't be 168 on fight night. He'll probably blow up to 186, 190. So the weight difference alone would just be too much. Crawford won't have the power to hurt him, and he can get hit easily. And if you can't hurt Canelo, so Canelo has been stripped of his IBF super middleweight title after confirming he will duck the mandatory IBF #1 contender, William Skull.
Who the fuck is that guy? Who the fuck is that?
To fight Edgar Berlanga on September the 14th instead. The IBF is one of the few boxing organizations which is very strict with making sure that their mandatories get title shots, which is a good thing. And we can also all agree that Canelo fighting Berlanga is much better than Canelo fighting Skull, but not better than facing David Benavidez though.
Give me what I want! Give me what I want!
So now we know that the Berlanga fight won't be for undisputed. But the question is, would Berlanga care if the fight with Canelo is not for undisputed? Or for him, it wouldn't matter because
payday, payday, you want payday. I know that.
Joyce lost to Derek Chisora by unanimous decision. Has Joyce got a pension because his career is done? Let's talk about it. This was supposed to be Joyce's fight to lose. This was supposed to be an easy fight against a journeyman who lost 4 of his last 6 fights and admitted this fight could be his farewell performance. I mean, what could go wrong? Joyce was boxing slower than Chisora. Do you know how terrible you have to be slower than Derek Chisora? Chisora was beating into the punch to the point where he knocked him down in the 9th round. So even after he lost in devastating fashion, Joyce says he still would like to continue on. Really? This is his 3rd defeat in his last 4 fights. We can pinpoint the start to his downfall when Zhilei Zhang knocked him out and took his soul. Joyce is 38 years of age. His punch resistance has all but evaporated. If no one else will tell you, then I will. Dillian Whyte wants to fight Derek Chisora next.
Let's go! Let's go! I'm ready!
Let's talk about it. After Derek Chisora's recent win against Joyce in a slugfest, it has now given Chisora a new lease on life. So this may not be his farewell tour after all, but there's one man that doesn't want Chisora to retire just yet. And that man is Dillian Whyte, who is sat ringside and wants to make the Dillian Whyte versus Derek Chisora trilogy.
I would love to fight Donkey next. That is a warhorse, there's no donkey anymore.
This could be the farewell fight that Chisora's looking for. Even though this fight won't be popular globally, it'll still be very popular amongst the UK fans. And that way Chisora can leave the sport on his own terms. The way I think he should leave the sport. On his back. Dillian Whyte needs a warm-up fight against the journeyman, and in Derek Chisora, he has found the perfect dance partner. And that's why Jared Anderson was the future of the heavyweight division, until he's not. Let's talk about it. Jared Anderson was tipped to become the next top American heavyweight, anointed by the Turk Al-Sheikh himself, who personally wanted him on the Terrence Crawford undercard so he could showcase him to a wider audience. This was Anderson's chance to show that he was the next big thing. They gave him Martin Bakole as his next opponent, who is a top underrated heavyweight that people are sleeping on because it's not well known to the public. Anderson assumed that Bakole was going to be a walkover, speaking about future fights and getting into arguments with Jarrell Miller, a potential future opponent. But when it came to fight night, Jared Anderson's career got erased quicker than Thanos' snap, as Bakole battered him and gave him a beatdown for the ages. A beatdown that I'm afraid that he may never recover from. You can blame his team, his matchmakers at Top Rank, Al-Sheikh, but he was clearly not ready for this step-up fight. And it's sad because should we have VAR in boxing? Let's talk about it. There's been a lot of controversies in boxing recently, especially with the judges' decisions. We watch a fight and everyone will have an opinion on how the fight went. Well, Maurizio Solomon and the WBC want to change all that by introducing a system called VAR, a replay system which is currently used in football, to have a second look at controversial decisions. And they first want to introduce this at the Usyk-Fury rematch in December, which has caused mixed opinions between promoters, with Ben Shalom of Boxer saying,
I think for the big fights, it makes a lot of sense.
And Eddie Hearn saying,
I think terrible idea.
Me personally don't think VAR is needed, but I do think transparency in the scoring system is needed, where after every round we can see what the official judges' scorecards are, so each corner knows where they are in the fight. And if this was introduced, then you won't have situations like